Hi there everyone, my name is Paul and I'm the Vertophile. Are you sure that when you've made a decision about a topic that you've made the correct one? Is your assurance based on factual evidence or on a gut feeling? Why do you believe what you believe, and can you rationally defend yourself when confronted with questions such as these? Not everyone can answer these questions with a resounding yes, and I highly doubt anyone can do that 100% of the time. People are extremely flawed in the sense that preconceived notions and learned information can disrupt their abilities to accept and properly interpret new data that contradicts what seems logical to them. Science denial is a primary concern in the world today. The rise of technology, which has allowed for endless information to be available at our fingertips, it has become increasingly important to learn to distinguish fact from hokum. Everyone has the potential to create a website or blog posts online and argue nonsense as fact. What people often fail to realize is that because something doesn't make sense to them does not mean it can't be right. Also, just because something appears to be incorrect does not always signify that it is. In fact, explaining reality is often convoluted, and the way things work is not invariably as it appears on the surface. This is a major concern in politics and political decision-making. Many people believe that denying science is a partisan issue. However, this is not the case. The same motivational processes underlie differences in the political priorities of those on the left and the right. That is, both conservative and liberal thinkers are prone to falling prey to logically fallacious notions. It's effortless to believe notions coming from a position of power or from what consensus within groups you associate yourself with contends. However, keeping a sound mind always to remain skeptical is of utmost importance. No matter your political affiliation, humans are all susceptible to believing in falsehoods. As far as politics goes, what is definitively verifiable should always be at the base of any argument. One of the subjects that gets me flustered is the debate around genetically modified foods. All of the GMOs on the market are safe for consumption. If they were unsafe, they would not be on the market. Major food safety organizations around the world independently verify the safety of GMOs that are available in stores. The goal of the safety assessment for foods from GM crops was to produce laboratory data for individual GM crops to demonstrate that they were as safe as foods from non-GM crops. This paradigm and the ensuing methods to demonstrate substantial equivalence has proven quite effective, as foods from GM crops have a well-established history of safe consumption in the US and in other countries that have imported foods from GM crops and cultivated GM crops. Purposely editing the genes of crops started around 1938. Began with tobacco. There wasn't any commercially available GMO food on the market until 1994. The FLAVR SAVR tomato was famous, but it never became profitable, so it was discontinued in the later part of the decade. And there have been more than enough studies on the subject to make sure they are safe. Each crop has to pass rigorous peer review before being allowed into commercial production. GMOs exist to lessen or eradicate diseases in crops, increases nutrition like golden rice, allowing food crops to grow in areas they previously couldn't, fighting world hunger, and to reduce the need for pesticide use. Organic crops require more pesticides, produce less food, they're harder on the environment, and they're more expensive and time-consuming to grow than their genetically modified counterparts. Organic is neither viable nor beneficial on a commercial scale. We want to be able to produce enough food to feed our growing population sustainably. We need to get past scientific illiteracy on this subject. Purposely genetically modifying organisms is only doing what natural selection does in nature already. The most significant differences in doing it with gene editing are that it's faster, it's safer, and it's more predictable. Also, GMO is an umbrella term that covers many different methods and occurrences. It isn't a specific term. Technically, humans have been modifying organisms since the beginning of agriculture 10,000 years ago. If scientists did something today like creating corn from a species of grass, which corn evolved from teosinte grass through selective breeding into what we have today, it would meet the same opposition in groups that are ill-informed and just flat out misinformed. Fear of new concepts that someone doesn't understand is natural and can quickly lead to groups of misinformed people. Emotive people easily sway emotional people, and huge businesses are created as a result. People like David Wolf and Food Babe They profit off of people that they continue to lead in the wrong direction. Whole Foods, a leading organic retailer, makes profits similar to Monsanto, which is Bayer now, a company who people love to demonize. All businesses exist to make money. That's the point of having a company. I'll end with the fact that GMO labeling is pointless. It's misleading. Many products marked as non-GMO, such as oranges and tomatoes, bear a label for no reason other than to take advantage of a gap in knowledge. There are no GMO tomatoes or oranges on the market. Also, there are guidelines from the FDA regarding GMO labeling, but they aren't requirements. The companies that label these products, such as the Non-GMO Project, aren't held accountable, and they're making a killing financially. Products that do contain genetically modified ingredients frequently have the non-GMO certification, so it's kind of pointless. What we as a species desperately need is more education and less fear-mongering. Better developed critical thinking skills result in a smaller likelihood that someone might take advantage of you and a higher probability that you can spot misinformation in the future. Scientific papers can be extremely challenging to process and understand. They are difficult for everyone, even professionals. If you genuinely want to comprehend a study, take your time, analyze every line critically, and look up a definition if you don't know what a word is. Don't assume that you understand from context, because in all likelihood you do not. This is something that everyone has trouble with. It can be a very long road to actually read a study and comprehend everything that's included within it. But the result of actually doing so and conscientiously working through the material is a much better understanding as a reward for being diligent. Our common sense can fool us easily, and confirmation bias is lurking around every corner, along with a myriad of other logically fallacious notions. Please don't let yourself fall prey to a hidebound mindset. We need all hands on deck to move forward, and being recalcitrant in the face of verifiable evidence hurts everyone, all of us. I suppose that is about it for this video and this topic. I just kind of want to start getting into how one should go about actually fact-checking things, and my goal is to actually teach how to be skeptical and how to actually criticize and assess information before making a decision, and my future videos will reflect that. I just want to cover a few topics that I am very passionate about first, and kind of get my opinion out there so people can see where I stand. I will have new videos here very shortly, and hopefully people will enjoy them. I am working on different techniques to increase my production value, and working on getting some equipment so I can do things like soundproof my little studio here, my office, whatever you want to call it. Getting a actually good microphone so I don't sound like I'm way off in the distance. And just being able to study and research these things to have factual and accurate information for everybody. My entire point here is to promote scientific literacy and to help expand on human knowledge, just to hopefully create more scientists is really what I dream of. So, like I said, my name is Paul. I am the Vertophile, and you will be seeing a lot more of me very soon. Vaccinate your children.